They ruled not the land, but the sea. A kingdom so powerful, it commanded the very arteries of ancient trade. Every ship that sailed between India and China, every merchant chasing fortune through the tropics, all of them passed through its gates. And yet, almost no one remembers its name today. This is the story of Srivijaya, the forgotten maritime superpower that ruled the Pacific.
Welcome to Historical Channel, uncovering untold stories, hidden facts, and the strangest chapters of history.
Our story begins over 1,300 years ago in the heart of the Malay archipelago, a region of lush jungles, winding rivers, and endless islands stretching across the equator. At its center stood the island of Sumatra, and at the mouth of the great Musi River, a thriving port city called Palembang. To most travelers, it looked like just another trading post. Boats loading pepper, resin, camphor, and fragrant woods. But beneath that surface was the heart of a rising empire. In the year 683 CE, an ancient stone was carved on a hill near Palembang. It was written in Old Malay, using Sanskrit letters, and it told of a man named Dapunta Hyang Sri Jayanasa. He was no ordinary ruler. He led a massive expedition, a Siddha Yatra, a sacred journey, with 20,000 soldiers and followers, crossing rivers and seas in long wooden ships. The inscription says, he departed in joy, conquering lands, bringing blessings. But behind those poetic words was strategy. He understood that in this world of islands and straits, power didn't come from walls or cavalry. It came from the sea. And that was how Srivijaya was born. From the moment of its birth, Srivijaya was different. It was not a land empire like Rome or China. It was a thalassocracy, an empire built entirely on maritime control. Every island, every strait, every harbor, they were pieces on a vast chessboard of the ocean. Whoever controlled them controlled trade. And whoever controlled trade controlled destiny. Srivijaya became that power. It seized control of the Strait of Malacca to the west and the Sunda Strait to the south, two narrow sea gates between India and China. No merchant could sail east or west without passing through Srivijaya's waters, and no merchant could pass without paying its price. The empire didn't need to conquer with armies. Its weapon was commerce. It became the middleman of the ancient world, the toll gate between civilizations. From India came cotton, ivory, and fine metalwork. From China came silk, porcelain, and tea. And Srivijaya collected its share from every exchange, building enormous wealth, one voyage at a time. But what made Srivijaya truly remarkable wasn't just money. It was mindset. You see, Srivijaya's rulers didn't just build ports, they built culture. They brought in scholars, monks, and translators from all across Asia. The Chinese Buddhist monk Yi Jing, who stopped here in 671 CE, wrote that Srivijaya had more than 1,000 Buddhist monks studying the scriptures. He called it a great center of learning, a place where pilgrims could study before continuing their journey to India. In Palembang, temples and monasteries rose beside the rivers. Sanskrit blended with Old Malay. Buddhist texts were copied on palm leaves, and sacred chants echoed through wooden halls as incense drifted over the water. It was a crossroads of faith, of trade, and of worlds. Imagine walking through the port of Palembang in the year 800 CE. The river is crowded with ships. Massive Chinese junks, Indian dhows, and Arab vessels with billowing sails. Dock workers unload crates of porcelain, spices, and gold dust. Monks in saffron robes stroll past traders wearing silk turbans. You'd hear a dozen languages in a single street. Malay, Sanskrit, Chinese, Tamil, Arabic, all mixing into the rhythm of commerce. This was not a forgotten corner of the world. This was the beating heart of global trade, and Srivijaya was its keeper. At its height, Srivijaya's influence stretched across thousands of miles. From Sumatra to the Malay Peninsula, southern Thailand, and even parts of Java, it forged alliances with coastal kingdoms and sent envoys as far as China's Tang dynasty, who recognized its king as the Lord of the Oceans. Its ports were so vital that Chinese emperors issued special decrees ordering merchants to stop at Srivijaya before sailing onward. It wasn't just a kingdom anymore. It was a brand, a symbol of wealth, safety, and sophistication on the high seas. For nearly 4 centuries, Srivijaya ruled the trade of the Pacific, quietly, steadily, from behind the curtains of history. Its ships guarded the straits. Its monks carried knowledge across the world. Its people lived in prosperity, connected by rivers and faith. But power on the sea is fragile. Winds change, currents shift, and new empires always rise beyond the horizon. Even as Srivijaya celebrated its golden age, forces were stirring in the distance. Ambitious kings, jealous rivals, and an empire from across the Indian Ocean preparing to strike. The tide that lifted Srivijaya to greatness was about to turn. Every empire believes it is eternal. Every ruler thinks the tides will always favor their ships. But history has its own currents, and the seas that once lifted Srivijaya to greatness would one day rise against it. For more than 400 years, Srivijaya reigned as the undisputed master of the seas. It had no equal. Its fleets guarded the Malacca Strait. Its ports sparkled with gold and ivory. And its kings were respected, from China to Arabia. But prosperity can breed blindness, and the waves never stay calm forever. Across the Bay of Bengal, a new power was rising. The Chola Empire of southern India, a dynasty of warrior kings, temple builders, and sea conquerors. Under the great Raja Chola I, and later his son Rajendra Chola I, the Cholas turned their gaze eastward toward the trade routes Srivijaya controlled. They saw what Srivijaya had: gold, spices, silk, and influence over the lifeblood of Asian commerce. And in that prosperity, they saw a challenge. In 1025 CE, the Cholas launched one of the most daring naval campaigns in ancient history. Hundreds of warships set sail from the Indian coast. Sleek vessels made for both speed and destruction. Their destination? The ports of Srivijaya. The plan was precise, ruthless, and unlike anything Southeast Asia had ever seen. They attacked not one city, but many simultaneously. Kedah, Ligor, Tambralinga, even the proud capital, Palembang, deep inside Sumatra's rivers. It was a masterstroke, a lightning strike across an empire built on water. The chronicles describe the invasion as swift and devastating. Temples burned, ships sank, markets turned to ash. The Srivijayan king, Sanggrama Vijayatungavarman, was captured and taken as a prisoner. For the first time in centuries, the sea did not belong to Srivijaya. When the storm passed, Srivijaya was broken. Its royal harbor lay in ruins, its allies scattered, and its vast network of vassal ports, those small kingdoms that once paid tribute, now declared independence, each trying to survive in the aftermath. Palembang, once called the City of 1,000 Temples, became a ghost of its former self. In the eyes of its neighbors, Srivijaya was no longer an empire. It was a memory. But the truth is, Srivijaya did not vanish in a single night. For a century or more, fragments of its realm endured. Rulers still claimed its name. Chinese records continued to mention Shi Li Fo Shi, a kingdom sending envoys, offering tribute, trying desperately to hold on to relevance. Yet without its navy, without its straits, Srivijaya's influence was like a candle in the wind, flickering, fading, waiting for the inevitable darkness. The sea that once made Srivijaya rich now erased its traces, one tide at a time. Wooden docks rotted beneath the river. Temples crumbled beneath vines. And over the centuries, silt buried the ruins of Palembang. Then, in the 20th century, the silence broke. Archaeologists began uncovering clues. Ancient inscriptions near Palembang, Chinese ceramics buried along riverbanks, and Buddhist statues, unlike any others in Southeast Asia. One by one, the pieces came together. An empire that had vanished for nearly 1,000 years was now visible again. Its influence recognized across Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and beyond. From the temples of Chaya in southern Thailand, to the artifacts found in Palembang's rivers, to the ancient port of Jambi, each whispered the same name, Srivijaya,